Hello, this is Sean from Happiness Training, I'm recording another video as part of my series of a training course for continuous directed change. And in this particular video, we're going to be looking at food and diet, quite an important subject when it comes to well-being. Obviously, there is a huge amount of information out there about how to eat healthily and what kinds of things you might want to do. Some of it's contradictory, and I suggest that it's very important that you find whatever looks and feels right for you. So we're not necessarily going to be looking at that today. What I want to talk to you about is how you might use the structure of this training course to enable you to make the changes in your diet that you want to make. So if we just look at an example and work through it. So the first thing that we're going to do is use goal setting. So we're going to sit down and we're going to write out all the changes we want to make, and then work out what do they look like, and then ask ourselves the question of, is this realistic? Is this healthy? Is this appropriate? Before we start asking, is it manageable? Is it time managed? So just one thing to highlight, to be aware of, we are looking at this, if we're looking at this through the lens of ADHD, it is important to note that eating disorders can be a part of that story, in the same way as other mental health issues. So it might be something that you might want to discuss with a person that you trust to make sure that your goals and your aims are healthy and also don't put you in any danger of maybe risking triggering an eating disorder or making you a bit too obsessed or any of those things. Or it might be that you might want to have someone to support you there if you think that you might be at risk of that. That is just something to highlight, and to know that there's a huge amount of support and help out there if that is an issue for you. If it isn't, great. So let's say, for example, now you decide that, for a lot of us, and we are looking at this purely, not necessarily from a cosmetic wanting to lose weight point of view, but how to be healthy and make long-term changes. Because obviously, if we can eat well, it's not going to cure, or it's not going to cure ADHD. There is no cure for it. It's not going to even cure mental health issues, but it is going to make everything easier. So some of the basic things. So what we would want to do is take things slowly and look at long-term incremental change using the principles of this course. So let's say, for example, one key area that is always very helpful is drinking lots of water. So that would always be a place that I would say is a good place to start. That might be something you're really good at, certainly something I've struggled with. So, we say that 2 litres of water is a good idea. Now, again, it is for you to make those decisions about what that looks like for you. My particular view is that it doesn't have to be water, because I find that quite boring and difficult. So I would go with squash counts. Any fluid that doesn't have large amounts of caffeine in counts as counts to my 2 litres a day. Other people might want to be stricter and have kind of room temperature water. Those things are up to you. And then you might sort of decide, okay, so let's use trying to drink more water. So we goal set, we set out what we want to do in the long term, and then we decided, using our baby steps, that the first step is to try and drink the 2 litres of water. Then we decide, how are we going to do that? So it might be that you get yourself one of those snazzy bottles that has all the thingies in it, the lines, drink it by 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. They've got quite good ones in Home Bargains, and you might want one of those. Or it might be that you put a cup next to the sink and you decide that every time you go to make yourself a cup of tea, you're going to drink it, or before every meal, you're going to have a nice big glass of water. You make a decide, you come up with a plan. How am I going to do this? Then you have your visualization. So you imagine yourself drinking lots of water, having more energy, feeling, skin's nice and clear, feeling good about it. You might have an affirmation. Personally, I think if we start having affirmations that apply to every little step along the way, you'll have too many. So it might be that your affirmation's a bit more general, like I eat healthily and well, something along those lines. So you've got your visualization, you've got your goal, you've got your visualization, so you're thinking in terms of healthiness. And how does that help? Like typically, even if you do have a day where you end up drinking 5 cups of coffee and you haven't gone near water, you're still going to keep up with those visualizations, keep up with those affirmations, talking to ourselves in a healthy way. It's okay, setbacks are normal. Speak to yourself in the, making a conscious effort to encourage and support yourself in the way you would a good friend. Always having a nice reward. So it might be, okay, something along the lines of, if I manage to drink 2 litres of water, for every day that I do that, I'm going to put £1 in the pot, and then I'm going to go for a massage. Or it might be that on the days that I have 2 litres of water, I can also have a chocolate bar. Or I'm going to take an afternoon off work, or whatever it looks like for you. Remembering that it's progress, not perfection, taking these slowly, giving ourselves credit, making these slow, incremental changes, far better than what can often be an ADHD habit. I want to do everything all at once and it has to be perfect. But breaking it down and making those changes slowly and incrementally, and as you say, a progress review, oh God, I haven't got on at all well with this. Well, maybe that's because I'm trying to do that alongside improve my exercise and do this and do that. So maybe I need to cut things back a bit, or I'm finding it really hard because I don't know, other reasons, and sort of sometimes it's helpful to talk it through with people. Or God, that's really great. Once you've got that under your belt and you're doing that regularly and it's become a habit, once these things are habit, once they've become easy and second nature for you and comfortable and part of how you live, then you might want to move on to the next thing. So some general things to think about when it comes to diet. Obviously, we know reducing things like alcohol and processed food is really helpful, increasing fresh fruit and vegetables. But just another thing I wanted to say is, for some reason, and I do think a lot more research needs to be done, we often see levels of things like magnesium, vitamin B12 and iron being quite low in people with ADHD. And those are very key nutrients for good brain health. So those might be things you want to get checked. And we do know that lots of green leafy vegetables, grass-fed organic meat, if you do eat meat, help to keep those levels up. So just some things to consider. And I hope that is clear and helpful. So I'll leave it there. Thanks, Sam.